Hey, how you guys doing? It's been a minute. Michael Maxwell here. Welcome back to the show. If you've made it to this episode, thank you. I appreciate every view. I appreciate every comment. There's who I am on camera and then who I am in the real world, and the two actually don't reflect each other very well. And I like to change that. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to reintroduce myself. Yes, I got late diagnosed with ADHD, and that's all well and good. And it happened this year, the year of my 49th birthday. I am a two generation dad. My oldest child is in her 30s. My youngest is three, so she's 10 times older than her brother. That said, like, really, since this channel is predicated and this podcast is predicated on being real, no fluff, no filter, so I'm going to introduce myself to you real, no fluff, no filter. This is who I am. I'm a high energy person, and that tends to get on my friends' nerves. This is me. This is who I am. I'm coming here to thank you for giving me so much of your time, your energy, your efforts, your support. I would really just want to reintroduce myself to you. Most of you who know me know the more animated, lively version of me. You've been getting the tame, nuance. I'm trying to give you information and be serious. I'm all of those things, but let's be transparent with who I am. I'm definitely more engaging. I'm definitely more animated than what you've come to see so far on the channel. I think the closest thing you've gotten to see me being myself is the episode with my friends and myself. I was saying, so I'm reintroducing myself. This is Say It Plain with Michael Maxwell, where we will address all kinds of subject matter. We're going to talk about family, friendships, relationships, platonic, romantic, everything in between. We're going to talk about kids, child rearing. What's it like having two generations of children in your same lifespan? What it's been like being diagnosed with ADHD at a late age. We're going to talk about what it's been like to me, even as someone who is embracing my ADHD, and I've joined a couple. It's a whole other conversation. So we'll talk about mental health, wellness, how things have been going, what I've learned with wellness, which is fasting, which is a tool that I now use on a weekly basis. Anyway, this is Michael Maxwell. This is Say It Plain with Michael Maxwell. I'm welcoming you to the conversation, and I'm reintroducing myself to you. So this is who I am. This is how I roll. Let's go. So today I want to talk about something really interesting that happened to me yesterday, and then probably slide into something that happened to me today. As a little side hustle, I do Uber a couple nights a week for like 3 hours or so, sometimes less. I meet interesting people with interesting stories and sometimes witness interesting things. The other night I witnessed something, and it kind of jumped back into my head some of the things that I think about, especially when we talk about parenting. Could be a cultural thing, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it could be a single parent thing. I don't get it. But I noticed that a trend, at least what I've witnessed, with when parents have entered my car with their kids, this, like, there isn't any like clear boundaries. So I've noticed when driving people around, like when families get into my car, well, usually it's a single mom and her kids or whatever, that the children are not children. The children are like friends. They interact with their kids like they're friends. And I'm like, that's just crazy to me, because I overhear adults having conversations with children that children are not mature enough to actually participate in. They can hear what you're saying. They can understand what you're saying, but the nuance, authority, respect for adults, even strangers, goes out the window when your primary authority figure, your parent, treats you like a peer. All hell goes loose. Listen, your children are not your friends. Your children are your children. You are responsible for them. You are to guide them. You are to shepherd them into the future. You are to prepare them for a life of independence. But to do that effectively, there have to be clear boundaries between who has authority and who authority is over. You're not friends. Because I think what happens is parents want their children to like them. Liking me is optional. You don't have to like me. I'm here to protect you. I'm here to provide for you. I'm here to teach you. I'm here to guide you. The friendship is something we will develop as you get older over time, when you learn to trust me, when I prove in consistent action that I'm someone that's trustworthy. Because this is what I think a lot of parents don't understand. The way you interact with your children kind of teaches them how to interact with other adults. And you might set them up for failure, especially when they interact with adults who are in positions of authority. Meaning, when you teach them not to recognize authority, they might run into some interesting situations in the real world, like a boss, a supervisor, or whatever. You don't need them to be a robot, but they do need to understand that there's a difference between you and them and power dynamics in your relationship. For example, one of the this woman and I, there might have been a history of substance abuse. The daughter is with the mother, and they're talking about visiting the father. The parents aren't together anymore. And the kid is talking about lending him money and he has to pay her back. But there's a tone of irreverence, of disrespect. But the way the kid is speaking, it's like they've had conversations they shouldn't have had. And it's almost like maybe the parents didn't have their stuff together. She was parentified early, parentified being made responsible for herself at an early age. The boundary of respect and reverence that should exist between parent and child just doesn't exist. And then she's picked a side. The mother, in her guilt, in her shame, or whatever their situation is, their history is happy to deflect the negative energy towards the father. All the while, we're going to see him. We're going to visit him. But we're talking about him like he's crazy. And I'm just like, how? Why? Like, I remember, I'll put it to you like this. I just think that there should be a line of demarcation between parent and child. I remember I've had conversations with my daughter when she was much younger, and I could see that she was smelling herself, coming of age, feeling herself mature, whatever, getting tall, getting big, breasts, all that good stuff. So I remember I was driving her home one day from one of our visits because, single parent household. She visits me, lives with her mother, that kind of stuff. She was talking and I listened to her and I was very honest with her. I stopped her in the tracks and I was like, hey. Because kids aren't stupid. Kids know when the parents don't get along. She knows when there's animosity. They know when there's strife. They know when there's problems. They know when there's beef. And because they know that, sometimes they'll try to wedge themselves in the crack. And I basically let her know, listen, no matter what it is you think you know about me and your mom and how I feel about your mother, I will never be a safe space for you to talk about your mother. Your mother is still your mother. I will never create an environment that allows you to disrespect her. It's not going to happen. And that kind of, I think it took her off guard because she's like, well, in her head, like, you don't like her or whatever. Yes, all of those things are true. But me not liking her is never going to be an excuse to let you disrespect her and tear down her authority as your mother. It's not going to happen. I remember she was talking some stuff and I looked at her and I said to her, because she's taller than her mother. She was talking that stuff like she can do something with her mother. And I looked at her, I pulled the car over. I remember I pulled the car over because I wanted her to see me. I pulled the car over, I turned around, I looked at her, I was like, don't you ever in your life think that you are going to be able to do anything with your mother on a physical level. Your mother will kill you. That's something kids don't understand about old people's strength. You're coming into your own, you're 14, 15, 16, 17. Do not test your parent. It will not end well for you. I'm telling you, you might think you're bigger than them. You might think you're faster than them. I promise you're not stronger than them. And there's that rage that exists within a parent when a child tests them. There is something in some Caribbean parents. They will bury you before they let you disrespect them. That's just my 2 cents on the dangers that come when parents don't draw lines and boundaries with their children. I've seen that on more than one occasion where the parent with custody Oftentimes, a woman act really irresponsibly with their dialogue with the children regarding the parent that's not around. We're not friends. I spend most of my days with my son. My son is not my friend. He will become friendly as he gets older, but my son is not my friend. My son is never going to be a confidant. I am generations ahead of him in life experience. There's nothing he can give to me. I can't sit down with my son and say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? From a perspective of, as a peer. His opinion has no weight against my life experience. None. By the time we're having conversations similar to that, I'd be like, I might ask him, hey, son, what do you think about this? I'll probably be in my 80s. He still won't have anything for me. The only thing he might be able to help me with is technology that will be native to him, that will be new to me. That's probably it. Technology. That's the only place that he'll be able to help me. Other than that, nothing. He's not going to have wisdom. He's definitely not going to have life experience like I have amassed and will continue to amass along the way. We can't be friends. Let's be real. I love you. I care for you. I want you to be good. I want you to be okay. I think this comes from my dad, but I understand it. I approve it. I don't need you to like me as my kid. I just need you to respect me. And how I get you to respect me is by being consistent with you and giving you boundaries. It's not about how much stuff I buy you, how much stuff I give you, how many trips I take you on. None of that stuff really matters. How consistent am I in your life? Am I someone who says what they mean and you realize when I say something it happens? Am I a person of integrity? That's it. That's what builds respect. It's not going to be I gave you everything you ever wanted for your birthday and Christmas. You know, I bought you shoes and clothes and everything you wanted. We're good. I don't need you to like me. That's your choice. I don't exist for you to like me. You're here. I take care of you. It's like that line in Fences when Denzel is like, which part say I gotta like you? Like, I'm your father. I gotta put a roof over your head. I gotta put food in your stomach. Which part say I gotta like you? Meaning, we don't have to be friends. You're my responsibility. I take care of you. Period. That's it. That was in the context of the kid thinking his father didn't like him. Of course I like my son. Until he gives me reason not to. I'm a real person. Whether you're mine, if you show me things in character that make me uncomfortable, then yeah, I don't have to like you. Love is unconditional. I love you, but I don't have to like you. I don't have to mess with you either. If you're going in a way that I don't roll with, you can stay over there. That's cool. That's not a problem. I see interesting things with parents and their children just not holding boundaries and who's blaming who and who's commiserating. The way I see some parents commiserate with their children, like we're allies in this situation against that person. That's ridiculous. As life goes on and the kids get older, they start to experience some real stuff and relationship stuff for themselves. They realize relationships fracture. And sometimes it's not what you think it is. And who you thought a parent was, absence of the vitriol of the custodial parent, you kind of get to know them on your own, which is something that's happened with me and mine. So now my daughter and I have a beautiful relationship. We talk almost every day. Regular, text, FaceTime, all of that good stuff. When she was a kid, the poison was deep. It was strong. This little girl had memories of me that didn't even exist, that didn't make sense, but it was based on her reality, which was being shaped by the custodial parent. That always bothered me, that I want to say that her mom didn't have the maturity to realize that, hey, just because we don't get along don't mean you have to poison the well. Because I didn't get along with her and I refused to poison the well. You know, did I think she was someone of great character? No, not at all. Would I share that with her daughter? Absolutely not. That's not her daughter's business. She's going to find out some things on her own in time, which she did, which she has. So time vindicated me. I'm good, but I'm not going to sit there and poison you or try to poison you against the hand one of the hens that's mainly feeding you, sheltering you, and providing for you, even though that provision came out of. That's neither here or there. I just wanted to get that off my chest. That was one of the things getting to me. And then another thing, on a sad note, I actually got to face a reality I didn't even think existed. I used to always talk smack about people and their pets. And today, I found out that my pet, Onyx, passed away. I adopted Onyx with his sister, Sapphire, named them. They're two black cats, so we have to delineate differences between them. Her eyes are really beautiful. They look like sapphire, so that's her name. And Onyx because he had this strong black coat and presence. I'm driving, I'm Ubering. We're in a family chat with my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, Kim's family, all in one group chat. And a chat just comes and says, hey, I'm sorry, whatever. Onyx died. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, what? I'm between trips. I'm on my way to pick somebody up. Kim calls, and Kim is like, is somebody in the car with you? And I'm just like, no. And she's like, I wanted to talk to you. I didn't want you to see it in text. And I said, I already saw it. And she's like, are you okay? And I'm just like, I'm coming home after I dropped this person off. Because he hit me, he kicked me in my chest. It bothered me. And I got off the phone with her, gathered myself, and I picked up the person. And luckily for me, the person was only going 4 miles. And in those 4 miles, I am keeping myself together because it's waves and waves hitting me. Of a lot of it is anger and a lot of it is sadness because I was really mad at myself because I want to say maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I started. Well, let me rewind the story. When M came home as a baby, it somehow gave Onyx anxiety. And Onyx needed to be rehoused. He kept trying to mix his scent with ours. And for those of you who don't have pets who don't know what that means, especially for cats, they'll urinate where you are or where you spend a lot of time because your scent is there. And when they're feeling, what's the word I'm looking for? Anxious, when they're feeling vulnerable, displaced, like their place in the pack is questionable. It's like, hey, I'm here, remember me? Because they have a sense of smell and marked territory. So he pees. And he started doing that in places where I'd be a lot. I didn't even realize this, but when the kid comes in, the kid is your number one priority. So you start trying to protect them from the cats. The cats go into the litter box. They're not necessarily clean with their little paws. They lick their booties with their tongue. So you keep them away from the kid. So in me doing that, that kind of increased his anxiety. So he felt more distant from me. So he would try to mix his scent with me. And then Kim would do the same with him. So that he basically started peeing on us as a way of trying to mix his scent with us, which we did not know at the time. And, Kim is postpartum, has stuff going on. So the long and short of it is we rehoused Onyx. We sent Onyx to live with our mother-in-law in New York. We visited him a couple of times and we'd FaceTime him, talk to him every now and again. But I really started thinking about him, I want to say maybe like a month ago, maybe a month and a half. I was like, maybe it's time for him to come home. I think we're good now. And I was more prepared to deal with him because M is now walking around, running around. He can kind of fend for himself. So the cats don't pose the same threat. He plays with Saf all the time. So I was like, maybe it's time to bring Onyx home. I mentioned it to Kim and Kim was like, nah, who wants to deal with that? And the anger came because I was mad at myself. In hindsight, I feel like I should have trusted myself and I should have fought for it. Because now he's gone. I mean, he was sick for about a week. His situation changed. There was some upheaval in his world at my mother-in-law's house, which probably threw his anxiety through the roof. He stopped eating. So he lasted a week without eating. He died today. And for the first time, I can say I empathize with people who have lost pets. I used to be one of those people, when I see people crying and heartbroken about pets, I'm like, what? It's an animal. It's no big deal because from Caribbean folk, that's how we roll. The dogs and the cats stay outside. They're not This house your pet in your home thing is new. So we kind of, it's not that we don't care about them, we feed them and all that stuff, but they just never have crossed into that space of family member. It was the dog, it was the cat. That was it. So yeah, that bothered me. And I cried. I'm not going to lie. I cried. But I understood for the first time what people feel like who've lost pets because, man, that hurt. That hurt. I was like ugly cry. Like ugly cry. And I know my friends are going to see this and they're going to laugh at me. They're going to crack jokes. Don't care. That's in my feelings. And now I realize what it is that pets do, why it is people grieve them so hard. Because grief is not about priority, because sometimes people think like, how does a pet rank so high on priority? It's an animal. Like, how could it matter as much as a person? You know why it matters as much as a person? Because animals have a way of showing unconditional love. It's very rare that you get to experience unconditional love as a human. Everything and everyone has conditions. Animals don't. You can throw a shoe at a cat, it'll be back at your feet playing with you. Yell at them, chase after them. Same thing with the dogs. They're happy when you come home. They don't care. You never disappoint them. To receive that level of engagement emotionally, that is something beautiful to the human being. It's not something we experience a lot as humans. You might get that from your parents, but honestly, we're humans. Sometimes the love is not unconditional. Spouse, maybe, girlfriend, boyfriend, maybe, friend, but a pet, absolutely. If you've never experienced it, or if you don't have too many points of references, the stuff that does to your brain, the stuff that does to your heart, like that animal gets attached to you. So your grief is for the attachment that is now broken. It's not that the animal is more important than other humans, but we don't have a way to really express that other than that great loss. You're like, how is this a loss? It's just an animal. No, it's a loss of a connection that we rarely get to experience as humans. That's why animals mean so much to humans. So there's some people who to this day can't stand other humans, and you should see how they melt when it comes to an animal, to a pet. It's because of the emotional stability. That's another thing I guess I would say. It's emotional stability. Pets bring emotional stability because they're constant. They're very consistent. So you always know where you stand with them. And where you stand is always in a good place. Unless you abuse them, which is different. But if you're just regular and say, like me, someone who has ADHD, there are days I could say I've probably forgotten to feed the cat. Definitely I've missed. And she let me know and then I'll catch myself. But imagine what your kids would say to you if they went a day without eating, looking at you up and down. And they'll wear that scar. They won't forget it. It's just the consistency of emotional connection that pets are able to provide for us. It's a big deal. Yes, I'm sad. I was actually scrolling looking for other pets to adopt. I'm like, I want another black cat with the same yellow eyes, and it has to be a male. And it's like, well, no, you can't replace the pet. Oh. I'm gonna keep that in. You can't replace the pet. It is what it is. Onyx is passed on. I know that. I can't replace him. That happened today. I am sad. I am amazed at how sad I am about it, how heartbroken I am over it, but I'm okay with it too because I understand why. And understanding why is very important. My heart goes out to everyone who's lost a pet recently and in the past where you found no sympathy or empathy from me. I apologize. Who feels it knows it. So now that I felt it and I'm feeling it, I understand. There won't be no wisecracks, won't be no jokes. My bad. My bad. I get it. I totally understand. I apologize from the bottom of my heart. I was talking to a friend of mine and she was like, yeah, my dog passed away for 13 years, like a year ago. And I was like, that happened? She's like, I told you. And I was like, word. That's how disconnected I was to animals and people's connection. It's funny, the connection was forming with me the whole time. The whole like at the time the person lost their animals, it's because mine were still around. I get to mom would complain about Onyx every now and again, so I know he's good and Saf is here. It just sucks, man. It just sucks. It's not comparing grief because some people won't get it, but I understand what grief is. Grief is about loss of connection. It's not the person, it's the memory, it's the feelings that you put in to whoever that person is to you. It's you feel that loss, the loss of those things. So be it a cat, be it a rabbit, be it a hamster, be it a human, to your heart, to your brain, to your biochemistry, to your emotions, it's not much difference. So I get it now. I get it now. I apologize profusely for hating on folk who are crying and heartbroken when their pets pass. I just didn't know what that was until today. So now I get it. My bad. I apologize. I completely get it. And I know Andre and Donnie, particularly those two, are going to have a field day with this. And I'm okay with that. I welcome the ridicule because, as Donnie said in the previous episode, men are dying earlier than they have to because they can't say a puppy's cute. Yes, we love animals. I love animals. I love my pets. I am heartbroken that one of them passed away, in my opinion, prematurely. My mother-in-law, it wasn't Octavia who's... Onyx wasn't Octavia. Onyx was with Petula. Mom, it's okay. I mean, I'm going to call you and tell you that, but I just want you to know it's okay in case you watch this episode. Well, I would have spoken to you before you watch this episode anyway, because I've also not done that. I haven't spoken to anyone in the group chat. I published a picture of the cat and myself, but I haven't really said anything. Everyone's wondering if I'm okay because they know I love that cat. Anyway, so that said, but this is real talk. What are the takeaways from this? I want you to take from this episode. Parents, your children are not your friends. They're not supposed to be your friends. They're not supposed to be commiserating with you against their non-custodial parent. You have boundaries that you need to maintain. There are certain conversations you should not have with your children. Children should not be privy to conversations about their aunts, about their uncles, about their grandparents, about your friends. Your children should not be part of your gossip, because that I've seen is crazy. And the kids are talking like they have an opinion and their opinion has value and they're weighing in on people. Like, you haven't lived. You don't know anything. Quiet. You're literally only parroting what this person has pumped into you. Like, stop it. So parents, please, let your children be children. Respect them as children. They're not your friends. They're not your peers, regardless to your relationship status with their other parent or whatever you got going on in your life. They're not your friends. They're not your confidant. They're your kids. Keep them in that box. It's okay. They don't have to like you. If you require your children to like you, there's something off with your self-esteem. Your children are not supposed to be your friends. Second, pets are important for human emotional regulation and experience. If you can, try it out. It's amazing. If you don't have allergies or whatever. Pets are a lot cooler than people give them credit. And they serve a purpose that I think they remind us to be human. I think if we can look at life through the lens of a pet sometimes, which is short memory. People are going to disappoint you. People are going to do things that bother you. But don't let that color how you move forward. When it happens, let it go. You'll be much happier for it. Pets tend to be happier because what happened literally 5 minutes ago, they don't care about. We're here brewing over something that happened 30 years ago, 40 years ago, mulling it over, replaying it, just reharming ourselves time and time again. It's the most ridiculous thing that we do. This level of self-harm we do by repeating and repeating harms and offenses of the past. Grief comes in many ways for pets, for people, for relationships, even careers, for life. Sometimes I look back, and I grieve that I'm not in that space when I was 13 and 14. We grieve our youth as we get older. Trust me, we do. So that's what I want you to take from this episode. Normally, I put a little more thought into it, but this is more of a rant. This is more of a reintroduction. This is who I am. This is how my mind works, and I wanted you to see it in real time. I don't know what the edits are going to do, nor do I care. I'm not going to spend too much time editing. This is going to be a raw, and I'll try my best not to filter too much. It's okay to grieve your pets. It's not okay to be your children's friends. At least not when they're toddlers, prepubescent, teenagers, and even young adults. There's a certain level of reverence and respect that needs to exist between parent and child. Thank you for joining me. This is Michael Maxwell of Say It Plain with Michael Maxwell, Chaos to Clarity. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your attention. And hey, if you had a good time on this episode, if you learned something, if you felt something, feel free to follow, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you for the conversation. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other.